What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and today's show is going to be phenomenal. So stick around. We're going to talk about Russia. We're going to talk about China. We're also going to talk about, of course, all of the other things going on right now. So we'll be right back right after this. Today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. Make sure to use the special code Marfoogle at marfooglenews.com/VPN. Thank you for supporting Independent. And then, of course, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. And that includes mainstream sources. Yeah. Lots of things. In fact, I think another mainstream giant just came out and corrected one of their stories. That is happening a lot lately, especially regarding a certain expose buster there, Veritas. So we're going to get into a lot of good stuff here tonight. Just want to remind you that everything is going to be backed up. We actually take the time before every show to make sure that we source our material and give you an archive of everything we show you. If it's a document, a video, or a tweet, or an article, we're going to link that on our website on marfooglenews.com. Now, when you go there, it's very easy to navigate. You're going to go to this thumbnail, and then, of course, once you click on that, suited and booted, of course, showing USA kicking out diplomats, you'll see that every link is there. On top of that, all of the show topics, everything that we are going to show you here is there. And then on the side, if you do want to support us, say through PayPal or do NordVPN or EMP Shield, all of those affiliates are easy to reach. You just click the box. If you want to use our Amazon link, you can go there to do it if you are still using them for a bunch of your stuff. All right, let's get straight into it. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. How are you doing, and what's going on?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, first off, there's a lot to unpack, but I did want to say a special thank you to Lady GYS. I really appreciate you, and I'll shout you out later. Thank you for your support on PayPal. That was really cool. And then, of course, let's go into the first story here. So we have first part human, part monkey embryo created by scientists sparks an outcry. It says that the first part human, part monkey embryo has been created by scientists in California, despite ethical concerns. Researchers have grown human stem cells in monkey embryos to try and better understand how the cells communicate. It says some people are totally against this kind of experimentation and think it could lead the way to human, non-human creatures. One thing I want to point out is a lot of the things that they are talking about right now, especially with stuff that goes in your body, is related to DNA and changing DNA and all sorts of things. We are actually probably going to see this in our lifetime, which I think is absolutely insane. Will we want to see it? Absolutely not. Most of us are against this thing just from the bottom of our souls. We don't like other humans playing God, and that's exactly what we will see. We're going to see governments, we're going to see big corporations and big groups basically altering what a human being is. And if you don't believe me, look at what the research says. Look at what they are actually doing. Look at the kind of experimentation they are doing with human beings. We're talking about making a stronger, making a faster, making a longer living human being. This is all a reality now due to these experiments and this research. So what do you think about it? In fact, I want to do a quick poll just in the chat on both platforms here. Press 1 if you think that it could be a good thing. 2, if you are totally against any kind of manipulation of the genomes and genes. Or 3, if you don't know. I would love to see where everybody is at this. And again, we see a lot of varying kind of opinions on most of these.
And Adam, what's interesting to me is you go back in like ancient times, right, or even like pre-ancient times, and old hieroglyphics and other things, and you see these human hybrid type creatures. And I don't know if they were just fantasies drawn or if they maybe existed back then, right? I know there's lots of research and people have done, shows on it and things like that. But it's just, it's like, is history repeating itself here?
Exactly. And we're seeing it, by the way, that is overwhelming. We do polls, and usually there's a lot of kind of outliers and people that, they might even, if they see all twos, they'll go for one. It is all twos, which says they don't want any part of it and they don't want people playing God. Why is that such a commonality between people? Like, it's not even where they come from culturally or religious. You just see most people don't want to see that done. They think it's fun, for, the Matrix and for sci-fi and stuff. But for real life, it goes back to the roots of everything from pretty much every religion, no matter how you grew up. That was kind of looked down upon. So it is pretty crazy that this is not only being talked about, being done. Somebody says, I think it's already been done. I do too. And again, this is something that is most likely already happening as we go through. I saw a couple, Jamie Turnage says, I don't care. I get that too. Most people are hardwired to either not care or to not like it. But there's not too many people that are absolutely for it. And that's pretty telling there. And then, of course, we have this new mobile weapon system can kill entire swarms of drones. It says drones allow for some strategic attacks against the enemy without the risk of losing human lives. Their use in military applications is vast, especially for surveillance work. We, of course, already have the Predator and other surveillance drones like it, which are also, aggressively packed with weapons as well. But it says there is no surefire way of getting rid of a swarm of drones at once. So right now, they do not have the ability to get, hundreds or even thousands of drones out of the sky. That is exactly why I said that right now, before technology comes up with a solution for this would be, on top of all of the world events, this would be the time. If you were building a massive kind of military of drones, you would want to use them before they have a solution for them. And as we've seen all over Twitter and all over videos, all over, is that both Russia and China are, arming themselves with thousands and thousands of robots and drones. Dex, what was it? Was it China or Russia that we saw had that huge kind of army of robot dogs? They were like our DARPA dogs, but they were their own version, and there was hundreds of them lined up and in this square formation. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember it. I don't remember who it was, but yeah, that's out there. And we even have drones with drones, right? We talked about the drones that launch drones. And
you're talking about fully automated AI-driven vehicles, actual cars, trucks that then can go without a human being, go to their target, even go to a second place, go to a third, just like our consumer drones can do all of these pre-programmed things, and then launch kind of a missile launcher of hundreds more drones. And these drones can be equipped with anything from explosives to all sorts of stuff. This is already happening, and all three major powers have major R&D going on all of these subjects. We are going to see in our lifetime at some point these defensive or offensive drones. In the United States, I believe in just a short few years, and in the UK, it will be like Watch Dogs Legion. You will see surveillance drones flying overhead. They'll look like bigger versions of consumer drones, only these will have a different purpose. They'll either be defensive, offensive, or surveillance. These are going to happen. They're already set up for this. I know that for a fact. You don't need a crystal ball for that because they're already clearing the airspace for it. They're clearing the airspace so Domino's can deliver you a $5 pizza right to your door and drop it from a drone. This is not a sci-fi movie. This is our now future, and almost now. They're already testing it. In UK, they've already tested the pizza delivery system. And you go, oh, who cares? It's just pizza delivery. It's going to be Amazon. It's going to be all of the delivery systems. You're going to see UPS doing it. You're going to see all of these people. They're already setting up for it. But you're also going to see military and police do it. Police already have drones that are flying above us. In Texas, we've had even a caller that showed us video of this drone that was following her, possibly thinking that she might be some sort of, somebody coming over. But they have these already, and they're using them. We have shown you that the military has been bogged down to this. Why this is important is because China and Russia are mass producing these, and no one has ever seen this kind of production. Mostly, from what I hear, China is even producing them for Russia. So they are making these massive, massive armies of drones and robots. And these things are, this is the scariest thing ever, because guess what? They don't have to worry about losing a life here. They just lose money. And then that it further comes in why they would want Taiwan, which we'll talk about. We're going to talk about the semiconductor company, and that very important asset there is why, mostly that they want that. We'll talk about an inside joke in China in a second here, but yeah. It says... Again, Epirus, a startup based out of Los Angeles, has come up with an answer. Their answer makes us use of a high-energy beams of microwaves that can damage electronic devices and mess with their power. Dex, is this basically a kind of stand-up mini EMP machine?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the last line in the article. It is a small EMP that they're using, electromagnetic pulse. And this thing is so small right now, it can fit on the back of a pickup truck. And they expect it to get even smaller and even more precise as far as what they're going to be directing it at. Which, while we look at this in the media and say, oh, this is military, this is, probably a good use of defense, et cetera, et cetera. What happens when this thing gets turned, at a building or at a home or at a vehicle, right? All of a sudden you can use an EMP technology and take out other things.
Now, the picture shown here, which is, of course, some sort of animated or kind of a mock-up of this, but it is from wonderfulengineering.com. But one thing that I learned about this picture is they are basing it on, what they actually expect. They used it for slideshows for the actual design, which they then were, in the very beginning stages selling to the United States military and other militaries around the world. This is what they actually expect. So I just want you to absorb this for a second. Do you see how all of these drones are flying in this kind of swath? It's like every, WW2 movie you see where you're sitting there, everything's okay, and then all of a sudden you see 200 or 3,000 jets flying over, and it's like, that is an image that is an absolute scary one. Can you imagine sitting on the coastline, say in Seattle or in LA, and then all of a sudden seeing planes for as far as you can see coming out at our coastline? Well, guess what? They don't even have to be on our coastline. They can send the predators. They can send these smaller ones, and then these smaller ones now with the AI technology then can go in and do their separate missions. They can all be pre-programmed to even grab faces, facial recognition, grab that face, maybe. Now that we have SolarWinds and everything else, we know that they accessed every database we have, including Facebook and all of these places where all of our pictures are. They most likely will even have a database in these drones that will access some satellite and know exactly who we are and if we are a threat or not. And then if they do see somebody, say an off-duty police officer or an off-duty soldier, boom, it zooms in and goes, bam! It sounds so sci-fi, it's not even funny, but this is reality now. And if they were to ever invade a country, this is the kind of stuff that they would use now. The next conflict will be bonkers. So I would not be surprised if we saw these kind of machines on our coastlines very soon. What do you think, though? I do like to hear your opinions. Make sure to pop it in the chat. Who was it? Melissa Viscotti says, creepy. Yes, it is very creepy. What was that, Dex?
Yeah. In the picture, you see the narrow beam and the wide beam. That's the technology they have right now. They can actually pinpoint, or they can go wide and take out a lot in one swath.
And I bet the pinpoint is more accurate or more stronger.
The pinpoint, what they want to do there is be able to hit enemy targets without hurting friendly targets.
Now, remember, I did videos about a year and a half ago at a Walmart that had all these containers. And, of course, at that time, it was shortly before Christmas. So what they said and what the employee said that this building next door to it, and I can't remember, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Dex, I don't know if you can figure it out. It was the company that does microwave technology. We ended up going and doing a deep dive into it because they make microwave and stuff for the military. They were placed directly next to and completely and utterly using Walmart's property for their containers. And of course, mixed in with Walmart was their containers. Ask the employees and they go, yeah, well, it's supposed to be extra stock, but the guys from next door go to some of them and we're not allowed at the same time. So they're not allowed in this fenced area with the containers at the same time as the guys from this microwave place are. So they're using, the federal government and this company are using Walmart's kind of property there to also store their stuff. On top of it, there might have been a couple ones there that might have extra toys or extra stock for that Christmas season. So I took a drone footage as far as I could go. I could not fly over the actual building. There was a no-fly zone just above that building. So you knew this place was like no joke. But my drone was legally and safely able to go over Walmart and kind of videotape the area over the parking lot. And you saw that it was really creepy. And they had their way to get in. So, of course, they denied that was even communicated or connected, but yet they 100% brought their, forklifts in a separate entrance that had its own little hallway of fencing. So it's like how I sometimes I just wonder how they just openly tell us something and go, oh, no, that's not happening. Not happening at all. I see him in the container. No, you don't. I can see him pulling out a microwave out of it. No, you don't. I can literally see the guy going, hey, I'm in the container grabbing microwaves. No, you don't. That's basically what they do to us every day. Speaking of EMP, I would highly recommend, if you are new here, I would highly check out EMP Shield. This is the same company that different agencies like DoD, DHS, Department of Homeland Security have gone to for EMP protection. This company was actually part of that executive order that T-Man did before he was still in office to harden our grid. These guys were one of the companies they called. These devices are made for different things. You can actually get one for your home, get one for your car. In fact, the car is their best-selling model. It takes about 5 minutes to put in, and that would mean that your car wouldn't go out during a pulse of EMP, E1, E2, or E3. It actually covers all three phases. And again, think about this. EMP actually can pulse over time. So it's not just one pulse. It might sit there 10 minutes and then 15 minutes later and keep trying to kill the devices. This was tested up to 42 before they just said, okay, this thing blocks it. What it does is it grounds the signal before it is able to fry your devices or fry your home or fry your ham radio. They even make one for your motorcycle, your RV, your solar system, which people don't think about, but that can be fried. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP not only to get $50 off, but it also combines with their massive sale going on right now. So with that combination, it is actually just as good or almost as good as the last Black Friday sale. Make sure to check that out. It helps the channel and it will protect you, and I believe at some point may save lives. So again, thank you for doing that in advance, or thank you for doing it prior. All right, and then by the way, it is a later show today. We would normally do calls on Friday, but we are probably going to be making up a call show. And of course, we have been asked, when are we doing the D-Live only show? We will most likely do it either Monday or Tuesday, but we are still waiting. We want to get everybody over there. We want to hype it up. So when we decide, we will put it out on Twitter, we'll put it out on a community post, and we will also put it out via all of our platforms, including our website. Dex. So, mortal threat. Communist China gaming free market to gain world nation. Economist warn. Now, this is actually a hot topic right now because of everything that's happening. What do you think about this as far as them exploiting access to the capitalist economic system to achieve global and ultimately seeks to control the world economy? What do you think about that first phrase?
Well, yeah. So obviously, this is a pretty strong statement. It's coming from the Times, but it's what I would look at here is some new numbers had just come out saying that their economy had grown and rebounded really well. So they had some really good numbers come out today, which is why everybody jumped on the economic stories around China. But that is key to understand because, in the past, we've talked about how we compare. We've talked about how, the U.S. economy is the strongest economy. And we've always looked at them as an up and coming. And the more they keep up and coming, the more they're going to shadow, say, the other economies of the world. And it seems like that there is no stopping the progress they're making. Not that you necessarily want to hamper progress in anybody, but in the sense of where you see the projections going, the writing's on the wall, right? They're really growing. They're still growing. Nothing has slowed them down, and they came out of this, CV setback in a strong position, a very strong position.
Now, I just saw a comment that actually says that Russian submarines are off the West Coast. Dex, could you peek and see if there's anything in any channels like Twitter that we can find, if somebody has spotted them, if there's pictures floating around? I know that you're a little bit better at that than I am. Now, this is March 7, 2019, that's April 24th, 2019. So there's a lot of stuff from 2019. I know that's when we covered this. They popped up in the Puget Sound, and they were not detected. Another thing about Russian submarines is they were, I believe might have been publicly a little bit ahead of us on the quiet technology, and they were able to sneak into the U.S., sneak in past all of our sensors, and then pop up right in the Puget Sound. And they even took selfies and then made it part of a documentary on how they did it for their country. I think it was government funded, and they were basically saying how they can get anywhere. They can go right up to your front doorstep.
But to be quite honest, if somebody said they weren't off of our West Coast and our East Coast, I would think that they were doing something wrong. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's what those are there to do. And I guarantee you that ours are spread out just like the same
along
way,
theirs.
all different coasts around the globe, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're over there too. We are outside of China. We're in the South China Sea. We're all over the place. I'm sure we're outside of Taiwan, Japan, everywhere. So obviously, if there's anything that you want to link to, make sure to let whoever said that comment. We will add it to the website. We update our website live during the show. If something pops up, if a major event happens, if an event in Wisconsin or somewhere pops off, we will add it to the website. And then let me go back to this real quick. It says, 2 former Tiananmen China experts warned a congressional commission on Thursday. It says that Miles Yu, former State Department policy planning official for China, said that the U.S. must demand strict reciprocity. Now I'm the one who can't talk. Reciprocity in dealing with the Chinese party, and to level the economic playing field and prevent Beijing achieving its goals. It says, quote, if there's one thing every American should understand about the People's Republic of China is that it is a dictatorship ruled by a Leninist party. Wait. Oh, they did say China. Okay, I thought they were talking about somebody else. Very familiar place close to me that I'm in. Mr. Yu told a hearing of the U.S.-China Economic Security and Review Commission. Now, what is this document here, Dex? You added this in. It's the Office of Director of National Intelligence.
So this is a detailed report that was released from the DNI, right? But what it talks about is some of the threats. And one of the biggest ones that they listed in here is China. And they go into sort of the usual things that we understand. But this is a brand new report that came out in the last few days. So I wanted to make sure that everybody had it. And I thought it was worthwhile that we at least show it and talk a little bit about it, understanding the fact that, they go through and talk about, the threat of China, the threat of Russia, and et cetera, and some of the other things that are going on around the world. But specifically, it seems that China holds the biggest position in this document.
So we talked about how Congress was putting this team together and all of these other kind of groups that were forming. and it's obviously that they are the top priority. Meanwhile, they're kind of saying, hey, over here is the boogeyman. It's kind of funny that most media is now pointing over there when it looks like that, that this is our big worry. And it's almost like our government is divided more than just down the half, but it's divided on both sides, then in two more times between people on both sides that are, kind of in on this. It's really quite scary. It says, somebody says, a lot of people are calling about DEF CON, saying it is DEF CON 3. They changed it today. I believe, so again, you would have to go follow it. That is a civilian-run group, I believe. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Let's see here. Yes, and then somebody said it was 1 minute to midnight. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it 1 second to midnight, to be honest, with everything that is happening. Android Architect says it's going to be WW5. Yes, because 3, 4, and 5 will all just be one big war. It says we have a dual presidency now, and we are under martial law. Duck Hawk, thanks for being here. Tammy George, we've got Rapture ready. Boss Wife 333, Southern Boy Prepper, Texas Rob. Hey, Mrs. Marv, thank you for joining us. Pam Beth, and everyone else here tonight. Looks like I cannot see the YouTube stuff, so maybe I'm not connected on that note. So, Dex, if you can, make sure that those are in screener. And then, quickly, I wanted to say thank you to Richard M., Susan M., thank you guys for heading over to PayPal and supporting us. Carolyn M., Gone Girl, again, thank you for the amazing message there. And then Lady GYS, love you, and your team. Absolutely love you. Take care, and God bless. Thank you, and bless you as well. Thank you so much for your support. Again, we are independent. We do not have a multi-channel network, so it really does matter that you guys are doing this. Christine B. says, praying for strength and courage to endure the tribulations coming. Amanda E. Billy B. My name is pronounced Billie Jean. I got you on that one. Edward W. I appreciate you. Paul Z. And, of course, Nettie 2550 says, hope eventually it all adds up, says I send a little bit at a time. Well, thank you. It doesn't matter if it's 50 cents or $1. We do appreciate it. If you want to access this document and more, go to our website. We have everything that we show you here today. You will be able to access on our website. So we make sure that you have all of the information you need to kind of follow along with us. There's a lot of good stuff in this one. There's a lot of good stuff in the other document that we shared. As far as the first report that went out, and then of course the NERC report. We should make a separate page with kind of the most important documents that we've shared over the last 3 years. I actually think that would be a great idea, Dex, but it might take us some time. In fact, if you guys want to help us, if you let us know if there was important documents that we shared on a show that you were, basically went to our website and grabbed off of us, remind us of all of those, because we do it every night. But remind us of those things we've shared with you, and then we'll try to put a list together. And then, of course, we have the most important company you've never heard of is being dragged into the U.S.-China rivalry. Now, this is exactly what we've been talking about lately. It is the Semiconductor company. It's been called Taiwan's Silicon Shield, and without it, much of modern life would cease. It says Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, makes more than half the world's contracted semiconductor chips and lies in the center of a technology supply chain. Let's see here. Churning out circuitry found in iPhones, Amazon cloud computers, graphics processors that power popular video games, and even military drones and fighters like Lockheed Martin F-35. On top of that, they forgot to mention cars have upwards of 150 of these inside. And then it says, but TSMC is confronting problems it has never anticipated when a Taiwanese-American engineer who spent 25 years at Texas Instruments and is revered here at hometown Bill Gates, sorry, Founded in the late 1980s, the company has been drawn into an increasingly bitter and at times dangerous rivalry between the U.S. and China that is forcing nations and corporations to choose sides in an era that is redefining the global order. Now, Dex, you said something when we were discussing this before the show about how they are bouncing back and forth. Is that even a thing?
So they are. And so they've been accused of secretly or indirectly, I should say, not necessarily secretly, but indirectly through other subsidiaries of supplying chips to certain companies they shouldn't be, or at least that would be frowned upon by the U.S. And the U.S. actually created a new list and added 6 new companies that they don't want them, or that they don't want American companies working with, which in turn, that while they don't actually dictate what Taiwan does, TSMC typically looks at that and says, okay, well, we may not do that and we may not do this company either, because we don't want to hurt our relationship with the U.S. And the reason the relationship with the U.S. is so important is we are where the innovation comes from. We are the biggest consumers, so they sell more to us. But the interesting thing is their future, if you think about it from a growth perspective, their future is going to be China, right? Like there's more need over time in the long run, 10 to 20 years from now in the growth in a large economy like China as it grows. So they're sort of stuck in the middle saying, how do we keep our, U.S. allies happy, but also make sure we're able to grow this business as a business, because this is not the country, this is the business, TSMC. And then the inside joke going around inside Taiwan is, if there is an attack from China, the safest place to be is going to be TSMC. Go get into the building, go to the campus, go where they make the semiconductors, because that's what they're coming for.
Yeah, this building and this business is so important to the world that it would be a higher priority than, say, some government buildings. This would be more of a priority than some of our highest priority, kind of political members. This is such a huge asset. This country, again, they say makes over half, but they say certain parts of these things, this is a huge asset. Now, remember, the Huawei company was directly kind of connected with the Chinese government, and Huawei had the rug pulled from under them, because then TSMC and all of these other places that were allies with Washington could not go through China and could not sell those chips to China. Well, then all of a sudden, China, their Apple and Samsung competing and even beating. They said that they were basically on track to beat the sales of both Apple and Samsung combined, was just ripped out from under them. They couldn't deal with American companies, which means Facebook, Google, we've got Gmail, we've got Maps, all of these things that you could not put into a phone when you first get that phone. When you buy a phone now, it comes with all that stuff preloaded. But imagine buying a phone that could not have any of those things. On top of it, the processors and the things that these conductors go into, they just couldn't do it. They basically screwed their biggest money maker in the whole country, which that's enough. That's an active conflict. That's like asking for a conflict right there.
Well, and they retaliate on that. So what China does is they'll turn around and they'll do something detrimental to Apple, right?
Yep.
They'll take it out against Apple, who is producing stuff in China, right? Because they can't get the chips or they can't get the right relationship they want with TSMC, but TSMC is making it for Apple, so they'll go take it out against Apple to hurt the U.S.
Exactly. And we saw different. We saw these different kind of percentages added to certain things that are being shipped. There was all sorts of kind of tit for tat that went on over this, but it is a big deal because a lot of this stuff is happening all at once. Now, as far as this, and think about that would be crazy if there was a conflict that full blown. Head to that company. That would be the safest place to be because they wouldn't drop booms on it.
And it's almost like it's the chips conflict, right?
Yes,
because that's what it's all about. It's all about the chips.
And now China, of course, is basically postured to take over Taiwan, and they want that. I mean, that's what they want there. What do you think about this as far as everything that's going on and how this plays into it? Let me know. I'm seeing a very interesting chat here. Everybody is talking about DEF CON. Everybody is talking about what is happening here. Just do try to remember that we have to take things step by step. I wouldn't stress out too much. We need to just make sure that we're prepared. People need to prepare. We're getting our prepper minutes ready so we can have a lot of good tips for you guys. I think that it is more important right now than anything is to just remember that you just have to take your life one day at a time. We can't. There's nothing. If there's nothing you can do to control something, then it is harmful and hurtful to stress out about it. You just have to keep going. I mean, really, it all comes back down to the fear of death. That's what I've talked about. I mean, it really is the root of all of our fears, anxiety, about stressed out about conflict. If conflict does happen, well, then it happens. We have to be prepared for that. And then, of course, Russia expels 10 U.S. diplomats as part of a retaliation for sanctions. So this is, again, they are now coming out with their own sanctions. And on top of that, of course, expelling 10 of our diplomats as part of retaliation for the sanctions we put on them. It says Russia has responded to a kind of barrage of new U.S. sanctions, saying it would expel 10 U.S. diplomats and other retaliatory moves in the showdown with Washington. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Friday that Moscow would add 8 U.S. officials to its sanctions list and move to restrict and stop the activities of U.S. non-governmental agencies or organizations from interfering in their politics. It says Biden hit Russia with new sanctions in response. Okay, that's actually part. We're going to go over to that here in a second. He said that the Kremlin suggested that the U.S. ambassador John Sullivan follows the example of his Russian counterpart and heads home for consultation. Russia will also move to deny the U.S. embassy the possibility to hire personnel from Russia and third countries as support staff. It says the moves follow the sanctions on Russia announced this week by the Biden administration. While the U.S. wields the power to cripple the Russian economy, Moscow locks levers to respond in kind, although it potentially could hurt American interests in many other ways around the globe. So basically saying they don't have the same pull over us as we do over them, but they can make life hard for many different places. It says Lavrov noted that while Russia could take painful measures against American business interests in Russia, it would not immediately move to that. So, like going personally after Americans doing business in Russia. It says Russia has denied interfering in the 2020 presidential thing and involvement in the SolarWinds hack of federal agencies, the activities punished by the latest U.S. sanctions. The Russian Foreign Ministry warned of an, quote, inevitable retaliation, charging that Washington should realize that it will have to pay a price for the degradation of bilateral ties. Personally, I think that what do you guys think? In fact, I'm going to do another poll. Press 1 if you think SolarWinds was Russia, or press 2 if you think it was somebody else. Maybe press 3 if you think it was China and they're blaming it on Russia. I want to know, do people believe that SolarWinds was Russia? 2, someone else, a lot of 2s. Or 3. I see a couple 1s. Most people do not believe that Russia was behind SolarWinds. If you don't know what SolarWinds is, just to recap, SolarWinds was a Trojanware that was actually with a company that was supposed to protect different services. Dex, I know you're way better at explaining tech.
Yeah. This was a piece of software you put in your network to help manage your network. It did lots of other things, and they basically attached themselves into that network as malware. And then when the updates to that software went out and everybody uses SolarWinds, everybody had it in their systems. Whenever they got the update, then they got the malware, and then that opened a back door into the network.
And everybody, we're talking about 500 plus companies as far as Costco's, Fred Meyer's, Target's, all of the big, huge corporations. You're talking about all the banking institutions, Schwab, Bank of America, all of these different places, and all 5 branches of the military and the Pentagon. They got into virtually everything, and they were in there for 6 months. So another thing, I guess there could be an option 4, which would be like, would the U.S. kind of set up a side team to do it to ourselves to kind of get things popping? I don't know. Just a question, though. Just a question.
And when you get in that back door, here's the other thing to think about. Just getting in is one thing. You always know when you get in the back door that door will eventually be closed and locked. So you actually create other sleeper doors throughout the system. So they probably have, and wherever it was important to them, placed in lots of other opportunities to come back later at other times through different options.
Exactly. So not only did they get in and then they had that short window of access, they could have very well used that access to go to other parts to then put things so they could get back in after they had fixed the leak. This is the craziest part about it. I talked to a couple guys recently, but one, Dan, he is incredibly knowledgeable about this. He goes into huge companies like Costco and he fixes their problems. If they get hacked, he'll go in quietly and do it without news. I'm not saying Costco got hacked. He used that as an example. He's done them before. About 3 years ago, they had a smaller hack that they didn't want anybody to know about. Now it's out. But he'll go in and he'll fix that without anybody knowing. He's kind of like the secret agent man, but he's really just a tech nerd, right? He's a cool guy, but he calls himself basically, I'm the tech Bond, right? He'll go in there, clean up stuff. He said that this is one of the scariest things he's ever seen because he does know the true scale of it, and he's been going to all of these different businesses, and they are incredibly afraid. There are a lot of the smaller companies that are on this list. And by small, I mean not Costco, but say, 40 stores across the U.S. These are big chains, but they're not Costco, they're not Target, they're not this. And they said they are incredibly afraid what they are going to do with this information because they're worried if the specific information came from their servers, if they're going to be tied into it, if they're going to be responsible. He said that he has never seen such a high demand for his kind of job ever. And he's the guy you call in secret and sign NDAs and say, basically, you don't exist. There is more work for him right now than any time in history. He's getting a referral work to other huge corporations every single week. So this is right now, we are going to see some massive thing pop off. Even if it's not WW3, we're talking about some sort of cyber event that is bigger than we all know. We've already seen it, and we've shown you this over the last year and a half. We showed you how in local states, they were getting into the systems of smaller government agencies, and get this, like sanitation. Imagine if you are in the higher levels of the computers in sanitation to where you can make an employee. You can go into their computer system, put in an employee, put them on payroll, give them a backstory, put them all in there, give them codes and access to things that only sanitation workers can go into. What would that be good for? Now you think, why would they want to put one of their agents as a janitor or something, right? Or somebody who cleans up poo. Well, guess what? Everywhere there's a toilet, including government buildings, and get a sanitation worker into any government building. Get a sanitation or somebody with security clearance, with a backstory and everything, with an actual badge that was made off of their system, even with a backstory of who hired them and everything else, because they've got all that information. Then that sanitation worker, aka a sleeper cell, is inside some building, possibly placing things all throughout the building so it free falls or something. Who knows? That is what happened last year in many different states, and we saw that. That was just the beginning. That was before SolarWinds. So I just wonder, when is this huge... I think that there will be a huge event. Hopefully it is not blackout related. Hopefully it is localized, or hopefully it's regionally small. Let's see here. Yeah, lots lots of proof that they have been in and out, weaving through our system like no other. Okay, so it looks like the truth is out there. Everyone can bring happiness one small act of kindness at a time. Thank you so much again for your support last night. That is really appreciated. Let's see here. And then we have Brian Susmalich. Thanks for your support. Texas Rob 49. Definitely could be 4 because PS is in with the RNC. Yes, that is right. Brian Susmalich, D Live keeps shutting down on me. Make sure to exit the app and then come back. And then, of course, Bear Claws, DFW Jackie. If that's happening on anybody else, just make sure to do that. Kelly2334, thank you for your massive support. Texas Rob. And, of course, Johnson, thanks for gifting out badges over on D Live. Melcar, thank you for gifting out a sub. And then TKO, thank you. Bear Lover, Tony. You guys, thank you. Ilea, it's been a while. I've shouted you out the other day. I was wondering where the heck you were. Ilea says, I love Dex. Press 1 if you think there should be a Dex cam. 2 if you are a Jack Apple. 3 if you love Apple Jacks. 3 if 13 is your favorite number. I like what you did there. If you're a Jack Apple. Okay, so nobody pressed 2. 3, I guess that's okay. Press 1 if you want Dexcam. We've talked about Dexcam, haven't we, Dex? We want you to have a Dexcam.
Oh yeah, we've talked about Dexcam.
It's nothing that I want him to have a Dexcam, but unfortunately it's a technical issue that it puts more strain on it. So we've tried different ways. We're just looking for a better way to do it and a better way to kind of put it in. I also want little scrolling things on the, like what pops up when I do this, like this, right? I want that for Dex. I think he needs recognition. He does a lot of great stuff. Love from me for Mrs. Marf, says Cara Fusilier. Thank you, and thank you for specifically going over and supporting for Miss Marf. Taffy Royal, thank you. JM, huge support, JM. That's amazing. If that was a mistake, let me know. 2 old people on a couch. Crazy things are going on in the world. I understand that completely. The Flying Turtle Japan, another person I have not seen forever, from Japan, I believe. Yes, well, the Flying Turtle Japan did yen, or I actually don't know. I feel really stupid on the spot here. Lisa K says, D Live real glitchy. It's go time. Please stock up this weekend. And then Lost Rutch says, Deck and Adam, check out the Clinton Tribunal. So much going on. Keep up the great work. That's at truth11.com. I will check it out. Southern Boy Prepper says a total of 10 C-130s were doing drills yesterday at the Chenault Air Base in Lake Charles. LA unloading and loading military vehicles. Dex, since Southern Boy put that there, could we get that if there's a story behind that? It says a total of 10 C-130s were doing drills at Chenault Air Base. That would be great.
I'll look for it.
If there is something on it, we could add it to the website. And then Teresa Horton says, I've been watching you since your wife came out and said you got a warning from a relative and FEMA. Teresa, you've been in with a long time. I actually remember your name there. Lola Cafe, that was before Shoutros even. Lola Cafe, and of course, Sandy Bollinger. Thank you. Watchful and alert. I appreciate you. Trinity, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Hi Ho, Kermit the Frog. Says, I just did a vid on this yesterday, and many vids actually on CRISPR K9, and it's all connected. If you guys haven't checked out Trinity Red Pill, she has been a mod for almost the whole time I've been on. She is a really talented person. Her and other mods, I fully support being their own creator and doing amazing stuff. Let's see here. She's got great videos and radio voice. She just very easy to listen to if you want to listen to, and she's very smart. Okay, this is really crazy. So they're talking about Putin and how crazy this guy is, and this guy is out of a movie. I mean, this is the evil guy, but I'm not saying he's evil. He is evil. All of them are, including B and everybody. But this is the craziest thing. He's got like a Bond house times 10. He's got a cryo chamber. And, of course, I don't even know why it adds stables. It's like everybody's seen the pictures of Putin on horses without a shirt on. Like, the guy loves horses. In fact, he collects, like, some crazy amount of just these rare-bred horses. But this guy is saying that he has basically these James Bond-like villain properties. Dex, have you seen... did you know about this? Like
we showed a picture of something like this. One of the ones like this. It was on a mountainside. Remember? And I think that may be what they're talking about here, because they recently came out with more information about it, which was, like you said, the cryo chambers in the building and all of this other crazy stuff. So yeah.
Now, and by the way, it's an investigation by Anti-Corruption Foundation. So they're looking into people doing things that are not good, right? Has revealed new details about another of Vladimir Putin's alleged lavish residences, complete with stables, a golf course, and an expensive spa complex that includes a cryo chamber. Now, does anybody doubt that he had these things? I mean, he's the most powerful man in Russia. He basically runs the country, runs everything, and he doesn't ever have to leave. He's set himself up to just keep running it. I don't even know why they even do the elections, right? I mean, they basically don't have to. It says using satellite and drone footage, company records, photographs, and other data investigators have released, floor plans, and some of the first photographs of an expanded residence near Valdai, which said that Putin's favorite and most secret. They said they claimed that the residence was partially leased from one of closest allies on taxpayer money, while some of the lakeside property is state-owned and designated for official use. A more lavish section of the mansion has been privately developed in what is described as a playground for the health-conscious head of state. It says, in particular, the investigation focuses on a 7,000 square meter spa complex, which floor plans show a float pool, massage rooms, a swimming pool, and other amenities such as extreme cold treatment cryotherapy chamber that are rented from a company alleged to belong to one of Putin's close friends. It says company statements show that the owner of the complex has made more than 2.7 billion rubles in the past decade. Wow. So $25 million in the past 10 years. Just from this complex. It says the investigation was released as Navalny remains on hunger strike in a Russian prison, and his supporters are being pressurized. Is that really being pressurized by the government not to continue protests against his 2.5-year sentence on embezzlement charges? The emails of more than 500,000 Navalny supporters, many of whom had signed up online to attend new protests against the Kremlin, was leaked to journalists this week by an anonymous group that called the Navalny team, quote, losers, and claimed that the database was heavily populated with bots. Wow. Our corruption is a lot more hidden. We have so much of it. It is in every spot almost. I mean, pockets get lined and you can do pretty much anything here. Over there, though, it's like on another level. Like they are like straight up old school about it. Like, hey, shut up. Here's $20 or 20 rubles or probably 2,000 rubles or whatever. But yeah, they have some crazy stuff there.
I bet he's got a fancy freezer for his ice cream.
Yeah, a cryo chamber for his Talente. Oh, man. The guy is, he is truly a unique man, though. You have to say, even my wife says, like, she's like, I know he's a bad guy, but she doesn't like him as a person. She just thinks he's like one of the, what is that guy? The most interesting man in the world or something? That he comes back, his answers, like how he came back to be saying, oh yeah, we have good health. Like he's like straight up a movie character. Like somebody you just can't stop looking and watching. The guy is, definitely very interesting. If you guys know how he got into power, there is insanely disgusting and messed up stuff that happened, but it's out of a movie as well. Like talking about taking out an entire apartment building. And I mean, oh man, just you look at the biography of him. It is nuts. Navy SM-6 missile will attempt to swat down a mock hypersonic weapon. I don't know how they're going to knock down a mock hypersonic weapon. How does that make sense?
Well, the one we tried to fire didn't work, so.
Well, if it's not hypersonic, then isn't it just a regular missile? I don't know. It says a new version of the SM-6 missile is currently under development, and it will itself be able to reach hypersonic speeds. It says a missile defense agency together with the U.S. Navy plan to test an SM-6 missile against an advanced maneuvering threat, a term that has been used in relation to unpowered hypersonic boost glide vehicles. Later this year, the Pentagon says that unspecified versions of the SM-6 have already been demonstrated some degree of capability against these types of weapons, examples of which Russia and China have already begun putting to service. A new variant of the SM-7, the Block IB, is already under development and will itself be able to reach these speeds. So one thing to think about is what Russia first came out with, and it was a big deal, was this hypersonic, low-flying nuclear weapon. And the thing about it, too, is it could turn, it could go, and it could hit its target before you even knew what happened. But also, it would be avoiding a lot of radar, and it would be going so fast, there would be virtually no time to kind of find it, stick it, and pop it. Sounds like a toy you'd buy from Target. Pop it. Stick it. Pop it. Okay, sorry. Twist it. But do we have the actual ability to stop a hypersonic weapon? Do they even exist? Who knows? What's your opinion? The Missile Defense Agency, in cooperation with the U.S. Navy, demonstrated early capability against maneuvering threats. This thing can move around. That's the thing, it can turn. And they say that they have, Russia has a submarine shot nuclear weapon that can steer. It's like a mini submarine that can go fast, but it can also turn. Back in the day when you had torpedoes, the torpedoes could only go straight. So they had to kind of adjust for where the thing was going to be. Now they have these torpedoes that can actually steer around, turn if the ship turns to try to get out of the way. So they've got a lot of crazy stuff coming out as we speak. Dex, we've got lots of content here. I want you to bring up the Too Hot for TV stuff.
Yeah, certainly. So we've got some interesting things going on, like, footage that's been edited by major media, and people are questioning how they edit it. We've even got some strange things with, Gilly Bates going on there. So lots of interesting things. Go take a look at our web-only content, Too Hot for TV. And most of it, and there's even mansions. There's stories about some special mansions that have been bought. And people are now questioning. So go take a look. It's on our website. Just go to marfooglenews.com. Remember the news, marfooglenews.com, and look for the thumbnail for the show. And look for the thumbnails in the other shows. There's also always extra content that's available when we do these large shows. We make sure to curate all this other stuff that we just can't cover in the show, or extra content that we just didn't have time for.
I love it. It says capitalism for me, but not for thee. Yeah, lots of really great stuff. You gotta just go over and check it out. On top that last one though, man, somebody just got booted off of Twitter, and it is just unbelievable that it even happened a day after all this stuff comes out. I mean, it's not a coincidence. So anyways, go check that out. Today's show is very compact. We're going to be doing other videos on news as well, most likely tomorrow, updating with all of the stuff so you can share it out. We're going to get bullet points so you can have all of the information in one little space. Make sure to go over to Marfoogle News and check out that last video if you have not. If you're just joining me today, I really do appreciate you and thank you. Let's see here. You guys are absolutely amazing. In the beginning, Hull Operator says Nancy P. has been doing a lot of inside trading. Yes, I heard about that. Anna Trejo, thank you for your support. And J.R. Pale Horse says, hey, Adam, love the shorts. Watch every morning at work. Now everyone at work can't wait for the show. Seriously, JR, that's awesome. Watchful Alert. Let's see here. Sandy Bollinger. Again, thank you. Lola Cafe, Taffy Royal, Kara Fusilier. Again, thank you, and thank you to people, two old people on a couch. Thank you, Flying Turtle Japan. Thank you, JM. I appreciate you guys. And then Mike Honcho, appreciate you. I'm sorry that D-Live was glitchy tonight. I don't know what to say about that. It looks like it wasn't giving me the information as well, so maybe they're just they're updating something. DFW Jacket says, word up for Jacob Israel, and thank you all for the news. DFW Jackie, I do appreciate that, and Jacob Israel is awesome if you haven't checked him out. He's a great creator. He's the same on camera as off. And Brian Susmalich, Aunt B, everybody out there that helped support the show tonight, I really do appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you. We will be back. Texas Rob, thanks for going absolutely nuts over there and getting badges for everybody. I really do appreciate you. Dex, do you have anything else to say other than goodbye?
No, goodbye. Great show, brother. Much love. And much love to everybody in the fam.
So, again, shorter show today. We will be doing our shoutro. If you're new here, it is where I say thank you to all the people that matter most, you. I really do appreciate everyone here. We are about to hit 180,000 over on Marfoogle News. I mean, dang, we're closer to 200,000. That's insane. We are about to hit 145,000 here on Marfoogle TV, so thank you. If you're not subscribed to the other channel, Marfoogle News, make sure to go do so, our sister channel. And thanks. Just thank you, everybody, for standing with us. We're busting our butts right now to try to get everything out that we can. All of the information is available on the website. If you're not getting notifications, make sure to get your notifications from us. MarfoogleNews.com. Go up to the top and sign up for our alerts. We are going to be sending out some emails coming soon, so make sure to sign up for that now. We would also use this for SHTF. If we knew something was going to go down for 100% sure, again, we don't send these out often. We would send it out through here. Make sure to go over and check that out. Running with Scissors Mama 6. Everybody else, love you. Dex, love you. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
Random words that sound good, that is all. Random words that sound good, that is all. Random words that sound good, that is all. No, 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 no. I got Kathleen Sims, stilettos are in him. Bring it on, I am Moses. I got to be closer. Bring it down and not a closer. Open up doors to more than just evil. No, 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 no. My honcho 27, Kara Fusilier. Bring Aliyah and Kara Fusilier to the air. No, 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 no. I bring the Sarkar, United Minds, and Marvin Bars. Torn Tiger, bring it with Northern Tiger. No, 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 no. Thank you, Texas Rock 49, all of the time. No. That is all. Random words that sound good, that is all.
You like that? Random words?
Random words that sound good, that is all. Random words that sound good, that is all. Up in the hood, teleporter, going order me on that show orders, cause I'm never giving you all up. It's I'm good, that is all. Random words, it's I'm good, that is all. The truth is out there, Matrix 45, Occam Spacer, and Lady Rye by the 5. Random words, it's I'm good, that is all. Random words, it's I'm good, that is all. Always bringing peaceful, water is Venus, I might be a cat. Chance Pellet and Miss Jammer, peaceful waters and Laura Grid. Stormy 7572, Juicy 420, and of course Kara. Carry right, mighty torch, bring it all the forth. Truth is out there, I care. The truth is out there, we always really care. The truth is out there, we always really care. The truth is out there, we always really care. The truth is out there, we always really care. The truth is out there, we always really care. I just wanna say hi to my friends beside me, and we ride into the sunset. The truth is out there, we always really care. The truth is out there. Truth is out there, 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 gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Much love from Mrs. Marv, Murray, Mighty Tart, and all the above. I want my Jan to Mars. I want my grave go to. I want my Laura Griffith. I want my peaceful waters. I want my Duke 1955. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. I want my Venus now. I want to lift this brow. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Kim from Columbus, thank you. And Nectar One, thanks for sticking with us and having fun. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. Truth is out there, gonna get it, gonna get it. I might be a cat, and Trinity Red Pill, Blue Pill, I will come with the frog here.